Good morning and welcome to the another session of Young Science Leader Series. Today we have us with Dr. Anurag Dhyani.
Nitin, I share the screen. You can start introducing.
Okay. Good morning all and welcome back to the another session of Young Science Leader. Today we have Dr. Anurag Dhyani with us. At present, he is a scientist at Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanic Garden and Research Institute, Kerala. Earlier to this, he was an assistant professor at Mekelle University, Ethiopia from 2013 to 2016. Earlier, from 2012 to 2013, he was a scientist at Institute of Horticulture Technology, UP. And in 2010 to 2011, he was a senior researcher at Dabur India Limited, UP. So he obtained his PhD from High Altitude Plant Physiology Research Center, Srinagar, Garhwal, Uttarakhand. And he is serving as a leader of a IUCN Seed Conservation Specialist Group. He's a member of IUCN Global Tree Specialist Group member, North American Lily Society, USA. He is a recipient of INSA Visiting Scientist Award in 2017. Young Scientist Grant Award, Poland in 2012, Alice J. Murphy Outstanding Achievement Award from USA in 2007. He is also he has a recipient of several grants like the Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund, UAE, Global Seed Conservation Challenge Fund, UK, Rafford Small Grants, UK, and funds from Indian governments as well. He's also serving as an editorial board member of a Journal of Sustainable Forestry, UK, and Flower Research Journal, Korea. Apart from this, his research areas includes the plant propagation and conservation. So I congratulate Dr. Anurag for such an impressive profile. And on the behalf of our Young Science Leader family, I welcome you once again. And Dr. Felix, over to you.
Yeah, Dr. Anurag, thank you so much for coming here, and it's really a pleasure to be with you today. And we are excited to hear your story, your personal story from UP and Garhwal. You know, it's a fantastic place. I've been there once, and all the way to Ethiopia. You know, again, I've been to Africa once. It is amazing continent, and all the way back home in India, and now serving our country in down south. So that intercultural communication, I hope you're going to speak about it, north to south and all those experiences, what you have learned from all these things. So over to you. You can start your story. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Nitin, for giving a brief introduction of mine. And thank you, Dr. Felix, for giving me the invitation for speaking on science leadership. So can I share my PPT?
Yeah, there's an option, share screen down.
Yeah, that I can see. Yeah. Is it visible? Hello?
Yeah, all is well. Yes, you can make it full
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah. So, Dr. Felix, when I received the email from you regarding to present over this Young Science Leader series, I was very excited, and at the same time, I was not knowing what should I speak about. Because for last so many years, we all have been engaged in research, publishing papers and books and book chapters, but never thought of like somebody will be interested in our journey. So I thank you for that again. And the second thought I came to my mind is like how I can compress my 15 years into 30 minutes. That's quite challenging. Uh, then there are so many things now I understand when I was making my PPT last night that I can share personally with one of the some of the research scholars which are doing their PhD and the faculties. So with this, I would like to start my presentation. This is something I have been through for last so many years. I have born up in a very small town in Uttarakhand, then moved for higher studies in Srinagar, Gadwal, then for Delhi, then Greater Noida, and again out of country for Ethiopia for almost 2.5 years. And for past 4 years, I have been serving in Trivandrum. So in one way or the other, you can say it's a kind of random walk. That's why I just posted my topic as a random walk. So this is a small place, a small town in Uttarakhand, which is very close to Mussoorie, and it is known as Chamba. As you can see, the town is surrounded by mountains, and most of the time during winters, it will be cladded with snow. And on the other hand, the winter and the climate is almost very pleasant from 25 degrees centigrade to 30 degrees centigrade. So I born here and I brought up here and did my schooling from this place. And if I talk about my education, my schooling, I was not a very good student. I was a very average student. And on the other hand, if you see my father, he is a very learned fellow and he is a renowned one in this town. So that was a very challenging thing for me during my childhood. So when my result of 10th came out, so all the people around my society were looking at me, then how he will perform. But to my father's surprise, it was really, really disappointing. And to be very frank, at this platform, I'm sharing with you that for the next 2 months, I could not face it. And during those 2 months, I also realized that in studies, my inclination was little low, rather than my passion was behind going into the forest and looking for plants and collecting some wild fruits. Even during our childhood days, we all the good friends used to make a troop and go into the forest and collect some wild flowers and wild fruits. So from there, what I felt that I am not a man of mathematics, but I can do a little bit into the plants. So this is the cedar forest near to Chamba, that is Dhanolti, and frequently have a trip into these forests. And still today, I can feel the fragrance of cedar cones in my eyes and breathe. So after these things, when I started for my UG and PG opportunity, then I went to HNB Gadwal University, and I worked very, very hard. And I studied throughout days and night. And at the MSc level, when I did it in botany with a specialization in plant biodiversity and conservation, I become very happy when I received that I am the second topper of the university. And the day I called my father and I told this news to him, and he became very, very happy and felt very proud. So that was one of the awards for me for the lifetime because I could prove myself. I could learn a lot. With this, I thought of doing my research into the field of plant conservation, and I was looking for a institute which is focusing on conservation of rare and threatened plants. And I found this institute, which is High Altitude Plant Physiology Research Center, established in 1979. And to all of your knowledge, I would like to share that this is one of the first alpine research center of India, which is established in 1979. So this was my first reason to pursue my PhD in this institute in the field of plant conservation, particularly on rare and threatened plants and medicinal plants also. My second inspiration behind joining this institute was Professor A.N. Purohit. He was a very renowned plant physiologist, and he was the founding director of High Altitude Plant Physiology Research Center. And during my schooling and during my graduation, I read a lot of interviews, lot of research paper, lot of popular articles from Professor A.N. Purohit. Later on, he also received Padma Shri in the field of plant sciences. So when I approached during my time around 2005, there was no internal exams to be a candidate of PhD. So I just went inside the institute and I met Professor MC Nautiyal. So I introduced myself and he asked me several questions, some formal, some informal, so why you wanted to do PhD and what you will do after doing your PhD, what are your targets, how you are going to manage your life with this, with all the pros and cons he may have faced during 1970s or like that he asked. So I just satisfied him with all of his questions and then he transferred me to Professor B.P. Nautiyal. Professor MC Nautiyal was my PI and Dr. B.P. Nautiyal was my co-PI. So during that time, Dr. B.P. Nautiyal then asked me, so hi, hello, chap, how are you doing? So I said, I'm doing well, sir, and I received this much of marks, and I just wanted to pursue my PhD in plant conservation. So he thought for a while and just told me, can you think about a Himalayan lily, which is critically endangered? And I must say, this is one of the rarest lily on the earth. So, and despite the fact he cautioned me that I am traveling in Garhwal Himalayas for last 20 years in the alpine and subalpine regions, but I have not been fortunate to see this lily in the wild. And if you will find it, then it will be very, very interesting story because nobody have worked on this plant for last so many years. Then I thought for a while and I took it as a challenge because he told maybe after 2 years also, you will not be able to trace the population of this lily. And then you have to change your plan and focus on other plants. Then I decided, yes, sir, I will do it. And I took it as a challenge for myself that if I will take it as a challenge, maybe I'll not be succeed, but I will not say after 2 years that, oh, I didn't try it for this one. So with this thought, he asked me to, okay, now if you wanted to join, you continue your studies and then come here in the library, sit for hours, read literature, consult taxonomist, and so on. So when he said that you should consult taxonomist, I just asked surprisingly, sir, who's the best one in our region or in our state? Then he said, you should meet Professor Gaur. Professor Gaur is a well-known, renowned taxonomist in Garhwal Himalayas, and is very, very famous. So next day, I went to his cabin, and I knocked the door, and I went inside. He looked at me. He may be around in his 50s or 60s, 50s around. Then, and he's very experienced. Then he asked me, "Okay, young boy, how can I help you?" Then I said, "Sir, I'm looking for a lily. And can you please help me to trace it out where I can find its natural population? This is Lilium polyphyllum." So when he heard Lilium polyphyllum, he became very surprised. And he said, are you going to work on this plant? So I said, yes, sir, I'm trying to. Then he told me that, look, boy, it is very, very difficult. And I have not seen the plant. And even if you will get it, you will get only 2 plants in the nature. Then how you will pursue your 4-year PhD on 2 plants? It's very impossible. I suggest you go with some other plant and continue and complete your PhD in just 3 years and submit it and then move ahead. And I heard him. I learned from his experience, but what something was inside my heart that no, I have to break it. I have to do it at whatever cost it will take. So then my professor Nautiyal and Professor BP Nautiyal, they suggested me, okay, you consult this, you go there, you went there, everything gone. And almost 1 year it took. And I was on the verge of disappointment that, okay, now I think I have to change my plan. But suddenly something happened and I happened to be back to my Cedrus Devdara forest near to Chamba. And I found it. I found the first population of Lilium polyphyllum. That was, the plant was in flowering stage. And those memories still refresh me again and again. And this is the one of the best moments of my life, I can say. And it will ever be. So after finding the first population, then I went back to my professor with all enthusiasm and all zeal and told him, sir, I found it. There are so many, there are a number of plants there. Some are mature, some are not mature, and like that. Then he said, see, Anurag, your next challenge is started now. Because in one population, we cannot finish the PhD because you need at least 2 or 3 population to continue your PhD studies. So that gave a second challenge for me. Then after almost 2 years, I found 2 more natural habitat of this plant. And I reported it from near to Bhangeli, that is close to Gangotri. And then from Gangotri, I reported this plant. And later on, I studied about a different aspect. One day during this process, I was sitting in my library and was searching for some literature. And I came across this book, Seeds, by the Baskin and Baskin. And the day I started reading it, I literally tell you all guys, but I fall in love with these guys. They are from University of Kentucky, USA, and they are doing tremendous work on seed ecology, seed dormancy, and germination. And I thought I have to connect with them. Whatever cost it will take, I have to learn with them, I have to connect with them, and I have to work with them. So that was one of my dreams during my PhD. So after that, when things got started, this is the Alpine Research Center of High Altitude Plant Physiology Research Center that is situated at 3,600 meters. Initially, during initial days when I went to this center, I felt like it's heaven, and we stayed here for a number of days during my PhD field visits in different part of our Gadwal Himalayas. But when I imagine how this place will look like during winters, when there is a lot of snow and it would be cladded like this, the photograph we have, I just wanted to share with you all guys, and just wanted to show you how this center looks so beautiful. So this is the station we have, and we used to stay there during winters to work on our plants, to transplant. We have a nursery here. You can see the poly houses. You can see the guest house also. If you happen to be here, if you have a opportunity, you just please visit this institute. This is one of the best institutes in Gadwal Himalayas and in India also. So if you are interested in medicinal plants, if you wanted to work on climate change also, I have one friend who is working on climate change studies. He did his climate change studies here also. And so this somewhat looked like during the snow-clad period, and it's mesmerizing. Followed with these, this is one of the population where I have been and collected the data for Lilium polyphyllum. And I continued my visits to Gadwal Himalayas, and with these pictorial photograph, I would just share with you all guys how I have been to different places. This is one of the places where I have been. to locate my population of Lilium polyphyllum. This is also the origin of river Ganga. And I feel everybody of you know about this place. And if you feel, I suggest you kindly visit this place once in your lifetime so you can feel heaven. This is the same place where our research station is situated. This is Tungnath. And this photograph also shows you the one of the highest temple of Lord Shiva in the world. That is around 3,680 meters. On the top, if you will see above the tree line, you will see the Tungnath temple is there. So this was also very fascinating during my research. This photograph also featured in the Forest Asia Summit in 2014 and was in the top ranking. This is Kedarnath. I think with this journey, we all are going through the Char Dhams also. So this is Kedarnath, and behind the temple, we used to go and visit for, not for lily, but other medicinal plants, which are used in different Ayurvedic formulations. So basically, the institute is working on conservation status assessment, propagation protocols, biochemical estimations, seed dormancy, ecology. So throughout the Gidwal Himalayas, we all were traveling and learning a lot from the nature. This was the flood during 2013. We received, and unfortunately, my house was sinking in water for almost 24 hours. And then we recuperated it during a period of time. This is in Badrinath, and this photograph was received third place in Global Landscape Forum in Paris. And this was taken by me during my one of the visits to Badrinath. And basically, I am a person from Badrinath. My grandfather was a priest in a Badrinath temple. So this is my roots basically where I am from. So after conducting my surveys and fields visits, what we did is I will just give you a gist of my research. This is the flower of Lilium polyphyllum. This is one of the critically endangered lily in the world, and it has been posted in IUCN list. We conducted a survey and we identified how many mature individuals are there, how many populations are there. Then we try to collect the seed, and with the help of Baskin and Baskin, we identified a new level of dormancy in the seeds of this species. We propagated this plant with the help of bulb also, tissue culture also, and we recorded the phenology of the species at 2 altitudes in Gangotri and in Dhanolti region. We also estimated some biochemical aspect, anatomical features also, we conducted the study. And at last, after doing all these studies, we did some domestication trials. So farmers or like-minded people who wanted to grow this plant, they could grow it and fetch some money. So with this all, I compiled my thesis and submitted to the university. During the time, I connected Baskin and Baskin since 2006 through email, and they helped me a lot for my research in seed conservation, seed germination, dormancy. They helped me how to plan my protocols, how to develop my protocols, methodology. And one of the achievements I received with them is finally I published a paper in Canadian Journal of Botany with Dr. Baskin. So this is one of the achievement. After almost 10 years, I published a paper with them. So when we are in a stage, we can give something. So don't feel shy. Always share whatever you have, then you will get more than that. This is what I learned from Baskins also. They even midnight or even they have scanned copies for me and sent through by email whatever research or studies I was interested in. So being so senior, they helped me a lot during development of my career, during development of my behavior, whatever they have given me a lot of things. In though I have now never meet them personally, but they have influenced my life, and till date I am in touch with all these guys. Later on, we published papers in Journal of Bioscience, Nordic Journal of Botany, in Journal of Applied Research on Medicinal Aromatic Plants. We reached to the Royal Horticulture Society magazines, North American Lily Society, Science Reporter also. And so on, some base I developed for myself. Okay, a guy is doing something on lilies in India. That I learned because I got received emails from different foreigners, like what you are doing, how you are doing, what are your studies. So they got interested in my studies. With all these things, during 2007, when I proposed my protocol for propagation and conservation of Lilium polyphyllum, so I've been selected as Alice J. Murphy Outstanding Achievement Award US. And more than this award, the moment which make it more memorable for me was I received this award from Padma Shri Dr. A.N. Purohit. So that was one of the person whom you inspire, and coincidentally, he is giving an award to you based on your work. That makes your movements very beautiful and memorable throughout your life. On international level, what I received is like my PhD thesis and my 6 research papers have been adopted by IUCN Red List of Threatened Plants. And based on my data and my research, this species has been categorized as critically endangered on IUCN Red List. Following that, I moved to Netherlands for a symposium on ornamental plants, and I got to know a lot of people there, get a lot of connections that helped me to grow in future. With all these, I finished my PhD, and these are some of my small tips with my small experience that explore yourself wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Even if you are doing your research in a very small institute, with my institute was having only 3 professors at that time. So if you are doing your research from a very, very small institute also, it doesn't make a difference. If you wanted to connect with senior people, if you wanted to learn something, you will make it. My second thought is you should be a keen observer. If you are not a keen observer in science, you can have a short success, but in long term, it will not have any benefits. Like if I'll tell you, during my PhD, I developed a method to determine the age of perennial herbs. Most of the time, you guys must be listening. The method to determine age of a tree would be there. The method to determine the age of a shrub may be there, but to method to determine the age of a perennial herb, you will not find it. So this was just because of my observation. There was no methodology, there was no protocol, single observation, and we published this paper in Nordic Journal of Botany, that is in Blackville Village. So be a keen observer during your research. That is very, very important, because your professor is not going to be with you in the field, not going to be with you in laboratory, not going to be with you in the with the plant. So be a keen observer. That will be very good. On the other hand, try to connect in your field with some of the renowned people. Whoever, like in my case, I connected to Dr. Baskins, Dr. Jap from Netherlands, and lot many people. So they will guide you accordingly how you can lift yourself, how you have to raise your standard with international people. So this will be one of my advices to you. And the second last thing, what I will say is hard worker, be a hard worker. I always tell to my students, I always tell to my co-fellows, you can be a smart worker for a short time, but if you are a hard worker, hard work, there is no substitute for hard work. This is my tagline always, that there is no substitute for hard work. If you're hardworking, if you're not getting results, if you're not getting success in a short term, but after a period of time, you will be somewhere from where you can say that, yes, it works, it works, it works. In my case, it absolutely works. And I have learned from a lot of senior researchers and people, they always suggest be a hard worker. And last thing is believe in yourself. Whatever you are doing, if you think that you are good in sports, do sports. If you think you are good in mathematics, do mathematics. But if that is not your passion, forest was my passion from my childhood. I used to walk into the forest, I used to climb the forest, and I loved it. So if you are following your passion, nobody can take you away. Nobody can drag you. So with my PhD, these are my suggestions and advice for you. And I am also a learner right now, but whatever I have learned in last 15 years, I'm sharing with you. So after compiling my thesis, I submitted my thesis, and then I have two options. Option one, I got married in between also during 2009. So, and my wife was a senior software engineer in Delhi, and I was working in Srinagar, Garhwal, Uttarakhand as a senior researcher. So I had a two option. Either I have to be here and be a research associate or a young scientist, or I have to move to Delhi and I have to search for the job. That was a completely different environment because there is no natural forest is there. There is for botany people, the opportunities in Delhi was very, very less. So I thought for my family and for my career, I thought just taking it as a second challenge, and I quit my high altitude plant physiology research center in 2010, and I moved to Delhi. After moving Delhi, I faced a lot of challenges, which I think most of us face after we submit your thesis. So I have been to all the research institute from NBPGR, from IARI, from all the private universities, Amit University, Sharda University, Galgotia University. And wherever I went with my research papers, my thesis, and all the scientists, all the professors said, oh, your work is very good, excellent. But when it comes to, is there an opportunity for an RA or young scientist or anything like that? They said, whenever it will come, we will inform you. So today I also thank all of them because they never made me disappointed. There was always a hope, and you can live with a hope. Without hope, there is no life. So I keep struggling, and it take me almost 1 year. And luckily, I got a call from Dabur India Limited. It was one of the biggest pharmaceutical company and Ayurvedic company, and it is working for last 125 years. And when I received a phone call for an interview as a senior researcher, so I got very excited and I got very happy also because now there's an opportunity to live with my wife and stay together, and then we have to proceed. Then interview happened. They asked some formal questions based on my thesis. That was certain. I gave all the answers, and they posed a challenge that it will be most of the researcher who came here earlier, like they went within 2 months or 3 months, because industry is completely different. In research, whatever you do, you get credit for that. Even if your research papers are there, books are there, publications are there, awards are there. But industry, you are just coming, you are sitting, you're doing the job, you are getting paid for it, and you go back with the experience. That's it. So I got the offer letter from the Dabur India Limited immediately the same day, because that was also the day of my first marriage anniversary. And the manager was very happy and he just offered it. Okay, like this is just like a gift for you for your anniversary. So with all the enthusiasm, I entered in Dabur India Limited with a back experience of research and PhD and research papers and so on. So when I went to Dabur, there was opportunities for me, which I explored and which expanded me in my personality also. I got to travel all India. Every 15 days, I have a trip either to Madhya Pradesh, Himachal, Jammu, or Rajasthan, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu. Most of the places, I always thank Dabur for that. I visited all the places, and our task was to just go into the forest, meet the forest department people, and they were growing medicinal plant for us, and we were collecting the samples from all over India. And this is one of the forest in Tamil Nadu, I feel. And we used to go and collect this is a project on Dasmula Rest. So we collected the root of young and mature trees and bark also. And we used to bring the sample. This is how we used to dry the samples in the field itself. This is a photograph of Gujarat. And to my personal experience, I brought at least 150 and 250 kgs at a run also, with 5, 6, 7 bags in the train from Gujarat to New Delhi and like that. So these experience make me feel like you can expand if you feel like there is no limitations of growth, there is no limitation of personality development, as far as you give a yes. If you feel like I cannot do it, then you are collapsed there itself. So this is how we were bringing the samples from different part of India. And ultimately what I did was I developed a repository for Dabur India Limited. These are the drug samples from different medicinal plant. And this was the first repository developed by me, and then still it is continuing there. With that, we also did the microscopy of the herbs to identify for the identification purpose and help the researchers and other people to look over it and for their further work and studies. So something after 1 year, I feel like I'm traveling throughout the country with different place, different people, meeting different personalities. But something I was feeling like I'm missing, something my heart was missing. And I wanted to go back to research or do something which I can contribute to myself also, to grow for myself, to connect again with people, and so on. And then I found a new institute, that was Institute of Horticulture Technology. This is one of the best institutes of horticulture technology based in NCR region. And this is under the leadership of Padma Shri Dr. K.L. Chadda, who was the DG of ICR earlier. So with him, I learned a lot of things which I could have never learned at my research institutes, because he was so well equipped with all the technical terms, all the things which are in the field. And we used to have regular meetings with him, how to do things, how to develop training manuals, how to conduct a training, how to bring all the farmers, how to train the horticulture officers from Government of India. So under his leadership, I learned a lot, I must say. So there I got involved in training of different horticulture officers. The training was in the form of physiological response of plants, medicinal plants, growth of medicinal plants, organic farming, and all the other aspect of horticulture crops that includes flower, fruit, and vegetables. So that expanded, and I found my love in teaching. From here, I realized that teaching is one of my love, where I can excel more in future. With that, I got an opportunity to train more than 3,000 horticulture officers and farmers during 2 years period of time. And these farmers are from Northeast region. And we have also developed the cultivation of this banana plants. With this, the Institute of Horticulture Technology is also associated one of the big industries like Savir Biotech Limited, and that company is framing the greenhouse and glass houses throughout the country. So there, when I got connected with this company, I got to learn a lot about how to raise the quality planting material for any crop, which may be flower, fruit, or vegetable. So this was one of the plus points which I received while associated with the Institute of Horticulture Technology. After a couple of weeks, I met in Institute of Horticulture Technology is an Israeli expert. His name is Samuel Kurtz, and he was there. Just I have to report everything to him, and I have to work for him. And it's like you can say it was my postdoc, but in my case, my professor came from his country to mine, and he taught me here itself. So this was my postdoc, what I feel, because in last 2 years with Samuel, I learned a lot of things which includes drip irrigation, cultivation of banana. You can believe that in NCR region where the temperature goes 0 or 4 degrees centigrade sometime, we cultivated almost 1,000 plants of banana G9 variety, which we raised from tissue culture. So this was a big achievement in my life, that in Delhi region also you can raise the banana. And to be very frank and very honest to all of you students and researchers, don't ever feel that you cannot do anything, because this was Samuel made me in charge of this farm. And from raising from a small seedling to a flowering plant, after the bananas was ready, he told me, Anurag, now you have to sold it. You have to go to market, you have to go to mandis, and these 1000 plants, we have to harvest the banana, and you are going to sold it. I don't know anything. This was his words. He never say, I will help you. He will say, I don't know anything. You have to do it. So I still remember it's I think 17th March 2012 or 13. So I have my birthday. So morning 5 o'clock during my birthday, I take all the bananas and I went to the mandi and I sold it within 2 or 3 weeks. So that was a big experience. And today still I feel we are always limiting ourselves. Beside we feel like, okay, this well, beyond this well there is nothing, but selling banana also in the market make me grow in many ways. The shyness, the feeling which we feel, okay, how these people are doing, that all gone, all vanished, and I stretched myself also. So I always thank Samuel, and I'm still connected with him. After that he went to Malawi and I went to Ethiopia and we got connected, and he is also a brand ambassador of Indian horticulture issues. So for last 5 years, he have been into northeast of our country, and he raised a lot of greenhouse, glass houses, and help in the propagation and cultivation of horticulture crops. So he's a good guy. So from there, the knowledge which I received from Shamuel, Professor Chadda, and other, Dr. J.L. Mangal was there, Dr. Kaul was there. They all helped me to grow more. And whatever knowledge I received and enriched myself, I got the opportunity to move to Poland for a couple of days. And I presented some of my ornamental plants work, which I did during Gadwal Himalayas. And this also helped me to develop and build more contacts with international people. Coming back from the Poland, under the leadership of Dr. K.L. Chadda, we organized 2 workshops. And during workshops also, we realized what and how we have to move with the things, how we can conduct the big seminars where all the leaders are coming and they are representing our country and they are delivering whatever they are in their field, and how farmers are coming, how to manage them, how to make them stay in a hostel, how to give them food, everything we have to manage it. Beyond science, there are a lot of things which we have been doing in Institute of Horticulture Technology, and twice we conducted this workshop during 2012 and 2013. So from these two industry come academic institutes, what I feel is if you break your barriers, like research barrier or industry barrier, whatever barrier you have, you break that barrier and your confidence will build up. You will gain more confidence with whatever activities you do, either it's selling banana in the market or either it's going to different country. So whatever you do first time, that will develop your confidence, but that courage should come from inside you, that okay, I wanted to do it. In the institute, I developed my research skills and I literally fall in love with it, because before that I was not aware that I can be a good teacher. And then these all skills developed my and extended my capabilities and capacities. Before I was thinking, okay, I can only write research paper, I can only write popular article. But beyond that, when you go into different out of your comfort zone, you believe that, okay, I can extend myself. And again, the same thing is there, the hard work. If you are consistent, if you are hardworking, rewards will automatically come to you. And then after all these stuffs, when I was enjoying life in Delhi with all the things coming to me with good experiences, I got an opportunity to land to a new country with the help of UNDP program. That is a Mackay University. And for all of you guys information, this is one of the top 3 universities in Africa. And when I reached there, I was totally mesmerized by the beauty of this place, and how people are engaging themselves into different research and other activities. I started teaching UG and PG here, and I also supervise a few dissertation for my MSc students. were focused on the experience which I received from Dr. Samuel and Dr. K.L. Chadda on horticulture crops and organic farming. So this is sometime I am also a hobbyist. By hobbyist, I am a photographer. I used to go to different places alone and move on and take just candid photographs and then enjoy it after a long period of time. Like today, after 15 years, I am just reviving everything, and it makes me very, very happy to share all of you. So during this time, I got a baby of 6 months when I was in Africa. And then I planned, now it's time to be with my family, with my daughter, because they are also missing me. So I thought of coming back to India. So how it happened, I will just narrate a short story. During when we are in Ethiopia, we have twice we have vacations for coming back in a year. So once we came in during August and once we came in during February. While in August in 2015, I came to India and I thought let's apply for a couple of research institute for a research position as scientist or professor, and applied it. And when I was going back, I thought when I was submitting the application also, I thought even if the interview will be conducted within 2-3 months, I will not come back because it will be too costly. And who knows, for one position I'll be taken or not. So then I went, and during my February vacations, I came and I was sitting on my laptop and I just received a call for an interview in Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden. So I decided, okay, just 1 month is with me and within 2-3 days I have to go back. So I booked my all flight tickets and I asked my wife and daughter if we can make it as a family vacation, because God knows if I'll get it or not, but at least this is the opportunity to explore Kerala and move to beaches and enjoy the place for at least 4 or 5 days. So we all get ready and we went to the airport. And as soon as I handed over my ticket to the counter lady, she said, "Sir, your flight is gone." So I was shocked. So then I thought, okay, let it be, and let's cancel the interview and go back to home, and then we can see how things goes on. But as I reached to the exit gate, something flashed in my mind. I don't know, that was a power of Lord Badrinath or something, but that flashed to my mind, and I asked my wife, why don't we go? Let's see. Don't cancel our vacation at least. I was not very, very interested in interview, but vacations I was very interested. So she said, what you do, you go and we both can go home and then you come back and then we did. Then I said, resisted, okay, no, if we are going, then we have to go all, otherwise I'm also coming back. So we booked the next flight the same day, and full day we stay in the airport, and then we fly back, and then I given my interview, and to my surprise, after 1 week, I received the offer to join the institute within 1 week. Then I went to Ethiopia to give my resignation to my HOD and dean, and then come back. And after 1 month, I joined Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden. So this was the first photograph I have taken during 2016 when I stay in the guest house and joined the institute at Division of Conservation Biology. And this is the beauty of this garden is, among all the gardens in the world, even if you take the Kew, this garden is established under a forest. So this is a natural habitat of all the plants, all the animals which you can see. So in Kew, if you will see all the plants they are bringing from outside and they are planting in the garden, and then things are growing on. In most of the gardens in the world, it's like that. But this is the uniqueness of our garden, that this garden is inside the forest. So I learned a lot here. This is one of the biodiversity hotspot regions. We have a lot of endemism, lot of threatened and rare plants. And I started working very hard here also. And one small story before ending up, I would like to share that during this my tenure in Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden, I got associated and linked with Institute of Wood Science Technology, Dr. Joshi, and she said, we are planning to work on Maduka insignis. This is one of the extinct plant, in extinct tree in India. So we thought of it and we made field surveys, and she found it one day, and it was a big story. And we collected the seeds, and 300 seeds we collected and germinated 300 seeds in the IWST nursery. And out of 300 seedlings, we planted almost 200 seedlings into natural habitat. And it's almost 4 years, the seedlings are growing well. And this news has been reported by Scientific American, the Revelator, and all the big institutes and big Twitter accounts, if you will check this institute. And even recently, IUCN Red List have recently updated the tree assessment, and Madhuka insignis has been reviewed by me also and Dr. Joshi also. And this species is now, based on our work, has been categorized as critically endangered, not as extinct, because we have successfully located some mature individuals and raised the seedlings. So these are this is the natural habitat of the Madhuka insignis, and how the seeds are germinating, how the plants are growing in nature. And one small incident, I was just sitting in my laboratory, and these two ladies came to me, and with the newspaper in their hand from France, and they asked me, "Are you Dr. Anurag Dhyani?" I said, "Yes." So, sir, your news is published in French newspaper, and we are here to see you and meet you, and to a guy who is working on conservation. So that day was very proud moment for me. These moments are more than awards for me all the time. So these came to me, and we have a photograph, and then they, for half and 1 hour, they talk about the plants, how they are conserved. And then I took them to nursery and how we are doing the studies. So this is what happens when you are doing your small stuff. So if it reaches to the society like to see you, and society like to see your work, and so on. So at present, at Jawaharlal Nehru Tropical Botanical Garden, we are almost flooded with all the grants from Mohammed bin Zayed Species Conservation Fund, Botanical Garden Conservation International, a couple of projects we received from there, Kerala Forest and Wildlife Department, Kerala Biodiversity Board, and so many, Kerala State Council also. And after joining the institute, I also received the membership of Global Tree Specialist Group, for which I have been assessing the conservation status of trees and other plants. On the other hand, I have been in the leadership group of Seed Conservation Specialist Group. And of late, we are developing the guidelines for seed conservation. So in this way, this was a very brief study of 15 years into more than 30 minutes, what I feel. And this is also one of the mine photograph. I have taken it into Ethiopia during my stay, and it was voted as the most voted award for the Panasonic Canaloop context. Thank you very much. With all these words, I also would like to thank you, Felix, again, and also congratulate him, because one of his write-up has been published in Nature India, and Dr. Nitin Trivedi for organizing this event. And I hope this event and all the upcoming events will be inspiration to all the young scholars, all the young faculties who wanted to make their dream come true in the science. And I wish you all the very good luck. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Anurag. It was really amazing, your journey. You are a good photographer too. I discovered, over your presentation. It's amazing. And please exit your presentation window. On the top, you can see exit the, yeah, perfect. So yeah, it is really great. And yeah, glad to hear your story, especially the stories about the Himalayas and the rare species, that your efforts on the conservation. We also have a speaker tomorrow coming, and Gautami from ICAR, and Dr. Gautami is also into conservation and cryopreservation. So that the story will continue for over the weekend. And also you're saying something about your the Garhwal region, the Devabhumi. Before going to Antarctica, I had a rare chance to spend 3 weeks in Oli and Badrinath, Joshimath, and Satopanch Glacier. So it was amazing that those days, it's unforgettable. And Srinagar as well. It's a great place to be. And yeah, and your experience in Ethiopia and Poland, it's really amazing. I'm glad that you're doing fantastic job now in TBGRI in Trivandrum. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
So
much.
yeah, thanks a lot. I totally enjoyed your talk. Over to Dr. Nitin. You can start
Yeah.
Yeah.
discussions.
Thank you, Dr. Anurag, for such a interesting and I must say environmental friendly talk. I can correlate myself with you because I am working on the seaweeds and I also love to explore different part of the coastal area, you know. So it gives a different kind of satisfaction. So I want to say a quote here: the environment and the economy are really both the two sides of the same coin. If we cannot sustain the environment, we cannot sustain ourselves. I
Yeah.
think we should all remember this and will continue our work. So as
Yeah.
we already have, shoot out the time, so we'll
Yeah.
quickly start the question answer
Please,
session.
please,
So the
please.
participants are eagerly waiting for that. So Dr. Felix, over to you.
Yeah. So I can pick up the first question here. The question is from asked by Kasturi Tirupati. Can you suggest a book to know more about plants and their diversity, especially in your area of your work, especially in Garhwal region and
On
other,
on which
the
on which
Himalayas? Yeah,
on which
Indian medicinal plants.
yeah on what aspects you wanted to
Diversity.
know?
The person is asking for the diversity. So yeah, biodiversity of
There
the medicinal plants.
there are see nowadays if you Google you will find a lot of books on internet, and there is one
Mhm.
book on Aryavedyashala from Aryavedyashala Kerala Kottagala. There is a book Indian medicinal plant, and it's a complete volume. So all the medicinal plant you will find it there. But if you wanted to go for Ayurvedic things or Ayurvedic, you can go for Charak Samhita, and other books are there from which you can learn a lot of things. But regarding Indian medicinal plant, Aryavedashala is a book which you can refer to, where you will get all the most of the information regarding the medicinal plants. And if you are going for high altitude plants, then there are different books like agrotechniques in medicinal and aromatic plants by Dr. BP Nautiyal and MC Nautiyal. So that depend upon what is your need, basically.
And I can also add on Indian
Please.
pharmacopoeia that also has a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
the medicinal
yeah.
plants in it. So
Right, right.
yeah, the person can look at it. Yes, over to Nitin.
Yeah. So the next question is from Kriti Gupta. As we all are going through this COVID-19 pandemic, and the question is related to that only. Do you think Ayurvedic remedies are relevant for increasing immunity against COVID?
See, I'm not a right person to answer this question, but as far as our ICMR and other institutes are working on it, and maybe obviously there may be a possibility. But on the other hand, if you see the pharmaceutical industry like Oxford and other, they are also working on it. So to improve our immunity, like if you come to Kerala, it's like heaven for Ayurveda. Everybody is using Ayurveda in daily life. I have never seen a single person who is drinking plain water. They are always having a water of herbs or turmeric or like that. So to improve your immunity, there are Giloy is there, Tinospora cordifolia is there. That is very excellent antiviral. So those kind of plants are there, and if there is an opportunity and people are working on it, and let's hope the solution will come very soon. But I believe there is a hope. And if there is a hope, there may be a chance for this.
Okay. So the next question is from Yogesh Khilari. He is asking any effective agent against the virus diseases in plants.
I have not worked on that aspect. I am conservation fellow. So sorry for that question. I am not the right person, I feel.
Okay. Over to you, Dr. Felix.
Okay, I will pick up our next question. Krishna NS is asking, can a chemistry MSc student be permitted to do PhD in biological sciences?
Maybe in ICER you can check. There may be a possibility, but if you come to the Calicut University where I have been affiliated with, so that university is not going to allow you, because you have to do your BS in botany. At least one subject should be there, and in MSc you should have a botany. Otherwise, it will be not possible to shift your stream directly from that one. And even I will suggest you for your career also, when you will go to interviews or like that, they will have a very strong question why you shifted your field from chemistry to this botany or like that. It will be difficult. Maybe ICER you can check out with some of the professors.
Yeah, I back on that point because here in the central universities as well, and many of the universities, they actually insist for PhD in biological sciences, they look for life science, any field of life science as the masters. So I don't know why they are insisting for it because the transdisciplinary, interdisciplinary research has to be promoted. Probably that is the future of our country, so the chemistry
Right.
to the biology and vice versa. So as of now, this is really difficult, and but as yes, Dr. Anurag is saying, ICER, yes, ICER and IISc Bangalore and TIFR or IIT don't have that kind of rigid system. It's much more flexible there. So please explore those options as well. Dr.
Or
Nitin, yes.
if you wanted to do from abroad, you can go for such stuff, because I have seen a
Yes,
person
yes,
having a BA and PhD in
exactly.
plant science or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even humanities to science shifting is absolutely fine, or science to humanities in abroad.
Everything is possible.
Yes, everything is possible there.
Yeah.
Yes.
The next question is from Dibang Nath.
Yes, Nitin.
I'm very fascinated about Himalayas, the place, the area, the plants, everything. I'm doing my MSc. I want to pursue research on Himalayan plants. Can you suggest some institutes which I can try or any resource persons?
You resource person also. If you want to do, you can go for high altitude plant physiology research center, number one. IHBT is there, CSIR IHBT is there, CSIR Triple IM Jammu is there, GB Pant Institute of Himalayan Environment and Development is there, and HNB Gadwal University is also doing in that field. And if you can see a lot of universities in Himachal Pradesh also, and Jammu also, University of Jammu is also doing on that. So that depends upon where that fellow is staying right now. So he can get in touch with me. I can give him some contacts also, no issue.
Dr. Felix?
Yeah, Venkata Prasad Spurti is asking a question. So, can you tell some antibacterial seeds in common fruits? Common fruit.
Sorry, I don't know. I don't know.
No idea. Okay.
No idea.
Request for all the viewers. So please specify your questions on the topic. Constrain on the topic. So that's much better. He's working on the conservation, especially on the tree species. So please, you can ask any questions on the conservation biology and IUCN and all those things from medicinal plants. So that's much better. Yeah. Over to
See
Dr.
what
Nitin.
I feel, and I will urge
Yeah.
what I will urge to all the listeners, that these answers you can, a book on medicinal plant you can get from Google also. There is no need of Anurag Dhyani. But what I learned from my experience and where I am working, if you can take advantage of that, and if you can learn from that, and if you want to be a part of IUC, like that, then you connect with me. That is a better opportunity here right now, what I feel personally.
Anurag, I can ask you one question. So you haven't said anything about
Please.
your own, life journey, like your childhood experiences. What made you to choose a career in this medicinal plants? You referred somewhere that your grandparent was a priest in Kedarnath, right? So maybe
Yes, 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 yes.
that might have.
Badrinath, yeah.
Yeah, Badrinath. Yeah, is that the
Yeah.
reason? What actually inspired you to choose a career in
Yeah.
conservation biology?
That I told you, during my childhood when I was growing, that I was not very, I was very average in studies. So what I found my passion is in plants, and lately our state become the herbal state also. And then I thought that there will be a lot of opportunities to conserve and work on medicinal plants. So I decided to work on conservation of medicinal plant. And one of the factors was Professor N. Purohit also. He inspired me a lot for doing this work and studies.
Okay.
Okay.
Professor, it comes in your I can say in the university years or the college years. I'm saying more about like early childhood. What were your parents doing, and where did you do your schooling?
My father was a paramilitary officer, and
Okay.
I studied in KV. I am product
Okay.
of Kendra Vidyalaya. So like that, life moved on, and I did my graduation from HNB Gadwal University. And then I found the opportunity, and in between we will be traveling to Gangotri, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Yamunotri. So I was fascinated. Means if I don't see forest, I feel like I'm missing something. So I used to go back every time whenever I get opportunity. Even luckily, my in-laws are staying in New Tiri, that is very close to Chamba. So I'm connected there for a lifelong.
I got confused, Anurag, when you were saying about Chamba. So I have been to Chamba, but that is in Himachal
That is
Pradesh,
Himachal
isn't it?
Chamba. This is a Chamba
Rajia, Chamba.
that
I see.
there are two
Okay.
Chamba. One Chamba is in
Ah,
Himachal and one Chamba is in this near to New Tihri. This is close to the Asia's biggest hydropower dam, Tihri Dam. If you have
I
heard
see.
about
I
it.
see.
So
Okay.
initially people used to know us, okay, he's from that dam area or like that, because Chamba is a very small town with a very small population. So we were nowhere on the map at that time before
Okay.
20 years.
Yes, Nitin?
Yeah, so I think the next question is from Prithwinath. He's asking, how was life in Ethiopia like? How is research there different from that you did elsewhere? I think African countries are often overlooked.
Yeah, this is a very good question. What I feel is when I was selected, I had it to mind like, should I go or should I not go? Because the picture of Africa in our mind is like it is a very poor country and people are starving and a lot of issues are there, including AIDS and HIV also. So, but finally, when I reached there, I will tell you very frankly, the universities are Wi-Fi because they are getting the fund from UNDP and they are getting all the American books, all the tutorials, everything. They have video tutorials, they have all the things. And to my surprise, few of their faculties were PhD from US, Germany, Japan. So there was no dearth I found. And in spite of that, but to some extent, the tools, the laboratories are not well furnished and the students are not too much into research because it's a poor country and people wanted to earn money as soon as possible after plus two. If they get a job, they will go for a job. They will not seek for their passion of research or like that. But if there is an opportunity, you should visit the country and learn and earn as much as you can.
Yeah, so we had a speaker from Africa. Basically, last week we had a
Yeah,
speaker.
I have
Tama
seen.
was from South Africa, and yes, so
Right.
I agree with your point. I was actually briefly I was in South Africa, and they're actually the quality of education is way really good. They actually focused on the real quality of the research, and I recently also a PhD thesis came for me to evaluate, and the thesis was actually
Evaluate.
it is basically a collection of very good papers published in a peer review international journals. It's really fantastic.
Right.
They're doing a great job. Lots of Nobel Prizes going to Africa these days,
Yeah.
and yeah, that is
Correct.
one thing. And yeah, and also Somalia. We are
Nobel Peace Prize also went to the
Yeah,
Prime
peace
Minister of
prize
Ethiopia
as
this
well.
year.
Yes, exactly. And so I recently, in my curiosity, also I covered this point that on the fight against COVID-19, Somalia, one of the poorest country, they're doing fantastic job because
Right,
mask
right.
wearing is everywhere. It's very common. It's really a poor country, sub-Saharan Africa, but still, they could able to flatten the curve. That's
Right,
amazing
right,
because of the the spirit, the scientific
right.
trust on the scientists.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Right.
fantastic. Okay, I will pick up one more question here, and the question is asked by Dipsa Tripathi. Sir, I'm living in a mid-altitude area around 1,000 meters. Here
Okay.
we find a lot of endangered plants. What can be the key to conserve that species? So she's asking like what she can do as a citizen to conserve the plants or plant diversity, or in
She,
general, maybe you can say like a little bit
she's a,
about the citizen science on the conservation. Yes.
she is a researcher or she's a just common human?
Didn't say anything. Yeah, probably she's a student.
Okay. So the first thing is, I think first you have to identify the plants which you are thinking are critically endangered or endangered are really endangered or not. So you can go to the website of IUCN Red List of Threatened Species, and there you can identify if the species is really threatened or not. Because if you are feeling the species is critically endangered or endangered and it is found sporadically everywhere, then there will be no use of your effort of time and money. And the second part is after analyzing if the species is in the red list category, then the first thing you can do is to look at the phenology of the plant and collect the seeds. and grow some seedlings in your balcony or in your garden, and then raise more seedlings of it, and you can distribute it to your friends and family also. So this is one of the basic thing we are doing.
I
For
can
this
just
matter,
add
you
on
can
because your
connect
first
with the
one.
university. You can connect with the university, then the research institute, and inform that, sir, this is the plant I found and this is endangered. Maybe they have already a protocol for it, for a germination or vegetative propagation, so they can help you out more easily rather than taking more risk.
Yeah,
Yes.
Anurag, I would like to add on one point here. The first step here is the identification. So for which my suggestion is that, well, I suggest this to everybody or my students.
Right,
There
right,
are
right.
7 good apps available in the Android, and all are free. I can give you the names. It is PlantNet, Plant Snap, Leaf Snap, Picture This, Floral Incognita, Plant Identifier, and What is that flower? All these apps are performing fantastic for identifying. These are all based on AI, and you can try different kinds of apps to find out at least what is actually the plant. So all you need to do is just snap the leaf or the flower. Flower is much more better for taxonomic purposes, and then
Better.
find out is it really endangered or critically endangered. Then you can go to the second step, as Dr. Anurag is saying. So yeah, just a tip.
And there is an app by FRLSD Bangalore. So all the medicinal plants, rare and threatened, everything is available there. You can check it out.
Can you tell the name of that app? What is it? FRST.
NS FRLHT
Okay.
Bangalore.
LHT. Okay. Dr. Nitin.
Yeah. So I think the next question is from Sushrut Shubham. He's asking, what are the different methods to conserve the plants which are near extinction?
See, there are two type of method. Basically, we all know ex situ method and in situ method. In ex situ method, what we are doing, we are conserving the plants in botanical gardens or other which away from their natural habitat. On the other hand, there is an in situ method of conservation in which we are conserving the plant in their natural habitat. So if you are found a plant which is going to be extinct, the best thing is to protect it first of all. If it is near to a road or near to highway, you need to protect it with the help of forest department. Then you collect the seed and grow the seeds and germinate the seeds, and then transplant it in near natural habitat, or try to donate it to the forest department or in the botanical garden, so it can be conserved for long. Like in our case, when we try to protect the Maduka insignis, which was considered extinct for 100 years. Then we collected the seed, and right now, for last 4 years, we are raising more than 100 seedlings in our garden, and it's growing well. So this is one of the initial steps. Rather than there are some advanced steps for the species which is having recalcitrant seeds, whose seeds you cannot store for a long time. And for the seeds which you can store for a longer period, that is orthodox seeds, those seeds you can store in the seed bank of any botanical garden or research institute. And then those can be preserved for 50 years or 100 years and used with a better technology for growing large number of seedlings.
Next is a general question, because you're from North India, up north,
Yeah.
and living down south in Kerala, my home place. And what is your experience in living in Kerala for quite some time? And how did you adapt to the culture? We are actually living in a like intercultural communication, for example. And people are more and more receptive towards the Hindi speaking people in Kerala, because a lot of immigrant workers are there too. And but common perception is that South Indians have a very different mindset than the North Indians. So how did you cope up with that with the cultural communication? Yes.
I think we both faced this situation at a point of some time in our life when you may have joined the University of Patiala, and I have been here. So when I initially joined Kerala, I was like, I'm the only person who can speak Hindi. And 99% of people are Keralite or Tamilian, so they will be always speaking in their native Malayalam language. So for first 6 months, I feel it's like very, very difficult. It's not possible to adjust here. With the food also, food habits are completely different. You have dosa, vada, sambar, wherever you go, even snacks, you do not have a more choice. But now I'm very foodie about the puttakadla. If you remember, I love puttakadla. I love puttapadam. I love a lot of things. And my daughter, we are just learning Malayalam, but my daughter, she's just 5 now, and she's excellent. She's fluent in Malayalam. So wherever we are going, there is no, we cannot negotiate the things. Like in North India, if you go to auto rickshaw, you say, oh, you are saying 50 rupees, I will say, no, 30 rupees, I have to go. But in Kerala, if you are there, if there is a price fix for 50 rupees, you have to pay 50 rupees, rest the thing will work. And on the other hand, if you see the people, they are excellent, their behavior, they are highly literate, they're never going to make mess with you. And they are always giving you the care, the support, the love, which I have seen in Kerala. I have never seen ever before anywhere in any part of India. My daughter has born and brought up with my neighbor. So they love her more than we do. So the love, and even if I have given a couple of interviews in North itself, right, 3 4 months back, even if I get selected there, so I'll be very sad to leave Kerala, because it's just the only issue is like this home is almost 3,500 kilometers from that place, and my parents are getting aged. So in that issue, if you want to come back immediately and see them, it's very difficult. Even for this COVID-19, my train was on 25th, and by seeing all the circumstances, my wife said we have to cancel it. And by just traveling from Trivandrum to Delhi, from Delhi to Dehradun, from Dehradun to Haridwar, and then Tiri. So it takes a lot of time. I think you better also understand it if your parents are still in Kerala.
Yeah, my mom is in Kerala, and of course, I miss her. I'm talking to her, and COVID-19 has been, extraordinary in all of our lives. So I'm also here in Punjab, though I would like to meet her sooner, but see, I'm here. And more than that, I agree with your point, and my experience is also quite similar. In Kerala, the thing is, it's lot. And the moment I came here in Bathinda, I actually felt that here it's much more peaceful and much not many people are here. Travel from one city to another, and roads are a lot more wider, and the infrastructure in Punjab is much better, I would say, than in Kerala. I like it a lot here in Punjab, and the Punjabi people are really, really helpful, very honest, and the person integrity very high. So I love my time here in Punjab as well. Yes. So yeah, that is our.
Where is your mom based in? Based in right now in
Oh,
Kerala.
she's
Where is
based
your
in
mom?
Kochi. Yeah, she's based in Kochi.
Kochi. Okay, fine. That's a good
Yeah.
place to live.
Yes, yes. Over to Dr. Nitin. Yes.
Yeah, so the last question of today's session is from Jasmine. It is about the motivation. How to have a patience and hope with focus and motivation during the ups and downs in a researcher life.
See, I have quote a lot of experiences with my past so many years of experience. What I feel is you have to be focused on your research and keep connected with your senior people who are good or who are positive. If you are in connected with some negative people or people who are already frustrated with their research, they are never going to help you. They are never going to give you some good advices. So always get connected with senior positive people who are successful in their life. That is the mool mantra, I would say. And keep going on whatever it is coming up. You learn while you are in research rather than other education or other stuffs. In research, you expend a lot because you have to work with your guide. Sometimes your guide is not supporting you, sometimes your co-guide is not supporting you, but you have to learn also to how to manage people. This is the need of time for everybody, I will say. If you know to manage people happily, then everything will work out. So be positive always and work hard.
Great. So once again, I would like to thank you, Dr. Anurag, for sharing such a interesting and inspiring your journey. I'm sure most of the participants have learned something out of it. And over to you, Dr. Felix. You can conclude the session.
thanks so much, Anurag. It is absolutely amazing session, and yeah, thanks a lot. It's really inspiring. I'm sure many of the viewers have been inspired by your personal journey, and thanks a lot for coming in. Yeah, it's our pleasure to be part of this series. I hope you're also interning some students, right? Are there some students working with you?
Right now, no, because I'm in a remote area and internet connectivity is very poor. But I would like to take some intern and then I will talk to Dr. Nitin, I think, regarding more details, how we can proceed with that. That is not a big issue.
Okay.
And
Good.
thank you, Dr. Felix, Dr. Nitin, for getting in touch with me. And whatever ways I can contribute in future, please feel free. Don't hesitate. Anytime, if I'll be there, I can help you in any way to contribute in any way. So please tell me. I'll be happy to help you, all guys.
Thank you so much, Dr.
You are
Anurag.
doing a great job. You are doing a great job.
Okay, Dr. Felix, can you just inform about our next session? Just a brief.
All right. Yeah. So our next session is by Dr. Harsh Chaturvedi, and he's from IIT Guwahati at 4:30 p.m. today. So please enjoy with a cup of tea. So he is basically, going to talk on energy and nanoscience. So his specialization is on energy-based systems. So it's basically going to be a material science, chemistry, and physics talk. So I will see you all till then. Goodbye, or